Collinear and coplanar points. Collinear points are on the same line. Coplanar points are on the same plane. Question A. Points A, B, C, and D are collinear. In how many ways can the line be named using only these points? And right here, remember, a line is named with 2 points on the line. So pick any 2 points on the line, and that's what you need to name the line. Assume that different order means different name. Before we work the problem, we need some definitions. And the reason we need these definitions is that ultimately we'll be using a formula to answer the question. And the reason we have to use a formula is that the problem becomes very long if we don't use the formula. The formula shortens the problem. So we have a definition. A permutation is an arrangement of objects in a particular order. So permutation is an arrangement of objects in a particular order. Within that formula of the permutation, we have this symbol. This symbol is read in factorial. In factorial. That exclamation point reads factorial. Here's an example. 5 factorial is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And notice that we're multiplying, and the name itself, factorial, implies it. Factorial has the word factor. Factor has to do with multiplication. And notice how quick this list in the multiplication becomes. This is just 5 factorial, and it's 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Imagine if we had 35 factorial. That would be 35 times 34 times 33 times 32, all the way to 1. That's why we need a formula to speed things up. A line can be named using any 2 points on the line. So I could use any 2 points in this line. These points were mentioned on the line. Any of these 3 points to name the line. For this line, possible names for this line are the following. We could read it as this is line AB, or you could call it line AC, or line BC, or line BA, or line CA, or line CB. All of those are naming the same line. So there are 6 ways to name this line. Notice, as the number of points on the line increases, the number of ways to name the line increases. Again, that's the reason for needing a formula to speed things up. Here's the permutation formula. It looks like this. And it reads a permutation of n objects taking r at a time. In other words, an arrangement of n objects taking r at a time. On this side of the formula is where we see that symbol for factorial. The formula counts the number of distinct arrangements of n objects taking r at a time. So for the line we just had up there, we would say there are 3 objects, 3 points, but we're going to take 2 at a time since we need 2 of the points to name the line. So 3 objects taking 2 at a time. For a problem in part A, there are 4 letters. Therefore, n equals 4. In our original question, there were 4 letters, A, B, C, D. There are 4 letters, so n equals 4. And any 2 letters can be used to name the line. So R equals 2. So you plug it into the formula. N is a 4, so you put the 4 instead of the N. R is a 2, so you put the 2 instead of the R. And then plug it in, substitute it into the formula. So it's 4 factorial. And then n minus r would be 4 minus 2. 4 minus 2 is 2. Notice the factorial symbols. Now you simplify. And 4 factorial is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, which is 24. 2 factorial is 2 times 1, which equals 2. So a permutation or an arrangement of 4 objects taking 2 at a time would be 24 divided by 2. This came from the formula when it was simplified, which is 12 ways to name this line. So for answer A, we would say 12 ways to name this line given 4 letters. For the B part, we have points A, B, C, D, and E are coplanar. Now, instead of being on the same line, we say they're on the same plane, the same surface. And no 3 are collinear. So to name a plane, you need 3 non-collinear points. Any 3 non-collinear points can be used to name the plane. A plane is determined by 3 non-collinear points. So in this case, N would be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. R would be 3, since we need 3 non-collinear points, because the plane is determined by 3 non-collinear points. So now plug those numbers into the formula. N is 5, so you put it here. R is 3, so you put it here. Run it through the formula. Simplify. Do the multiplication and division. And we have our answer. In how many ways can the plane be named using only these points, A, B, C, D, and E, and 3 name the plane? There are 60 ways to name this plane.